And for part four of this week's Week in Review podcast, we're going to talk about some positive things. I've been going off about my opinions in all these podcasts and everything, but we also have some good positive stories. This will be a regular feature, I would imagine, on our Week in Review podcast. We'll be talking about your favorite stories of the week. Jan, I know for you had a special story over in Gordon Heights that you worked on this week. And why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Talk about heartfelt. I mean, there's a community center in Gordon Heights, the Harrison Hale Action Center, and they about a year ago, Bishop Harrison Hale, who is the owner of the community center, went to the town and said, you know, across the street there's this abandoned building. I want to turn it into something that the community can use, and his vision was to turn it into a cafe. So through efforts through the town, county, and within a year they turned this abandoned building into a cafe where Longwood students can go get a hot meal and get help with their homework.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, so many of these kids, I'd imagine, if they didn't go to something like this after school, they'd maybe be going to an empty house, no supervision, who knows, what they'd be doing. I mean, I know, both my parents worked when I was in high school, and I would go home from school and not do anything. I'd just sit on there in front of the TV, and I'd imagine that's how things might be for some of these kids. So it's a nice thing. It's nice to see someone doing something positive like that in the community, especially a community like Gordon Heights, who, we're writing a lot of times about Gordon Heights, and it's negative news, and there are a lot of good things going on there. What was the reaction you saw from the students who were there?
They are all very excited about this new facility. Some of them were telling me, there's programs at school, but sometimes, there's no bus transportation to take them home. This is right in their community. They can practically walk home afterwards. It's a place where they can get, help with their homework and to socialize with friends. There's no coffee shop or commercial. There's no commercial development in Gordon Heights. So this is great. They're all really excited.
Cool. Samantha, story you worked on this week was on Caitlin Suarez, and I read that story. I've read a lot as the editor of the paper and the website over the last few years. I've read a lot about Caitlin. We've done a few stories on her and her bouts with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I actually had the good fortune of meeting her last year. She was we did our Sports People of the Year with the Sharon Wayne River lacrosse team. She was a part of that. She was there, just like a really sweet kid, and just really sad to hear, but kind of an uplifting story, all the things that students did for her at Sharon Wayne River this week. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that story?
Monday was Valentine's Day, as we know, and the Shoreham Wading River High School, the entire week before, held a fundraiser, sold purple, everything purple, as purple is the color for Hodgkin's lymphoma awareness. A student hand-knitted scarves, purple scarves with his mother and grandmother, and students sold T-shirts and other assorted items, and on Valentine's Day sold lavender roses, and they raised $6,500 for the Fight Kate Fund. And I had the pleasure of talking to Caitlin for the article, and she really is just a lovely girl and an inspiration. So that was a nice story.
Yeah. Cool thing, I really like the photo that you had that we ran on the website that said Caitlin 3, Cancer 0, and it's obviously an optimistic message, and I think